One year, long ago, I got asked to make the pies for Thanksgiving dinner. I was asked, can you make pies? I said, oh sure, I can make pies. I make great pies. I went and bought frozen crust because I didn't know how to make pie crust. I used those pie crusts for years until one day I said to myself, it really can't be that hard. I won't be defeated by a pie crust. Okay, so I got my lard. I'm going to put the bowl for the food processor in the freezer. You want everything cold. I need some flour and baking powder. Some salt, water. One of the most important things about a pie crust is keeping everything really cold. I'm going to cut my lard into little chunks and get it back into the freezer. This is about a good size. Now I'm going to measure my flour using a dip and sweep method by taking a spoon and putting the spoon into the cup until it mounds over. So now I'm just going to take the back of a knife and level that off. Same thing for the third cup. A big pinch of salt is about a half a teaspoon. I don't measure, but I want to show you something. Half a teaspoon. For some reason, this recipe needs about 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. It seems like an insignificant amount, but it needs to be in there. That is 1/8 of a teaspoon. Again, everything needs to be really cold, so I'm going to whisk these ingredients together to incorporate the dry ingredients, put this bowl in the freezer, and get my water ready. I need a 1/4 cup of water. To my water, I need to add 4 teaspoons of cider vinegar. So now that this is all nice and cold, I'm going to put the lard in the bowl with the flour real quick and toss those around to get those coated. In the food processor with a regular blade. You don't want to overwork the dough, so slowly pulsing the food processor while adding the water will get you the results you need. By pulsing, the blades are going to chop the lard into little pieces while it's mixing it into the flour. This is what you want. Now I'm going to pulse this until the dough comes together, and those little bits of lard are going to steam while the crust is baking, and that's where you get a flaky, tender crust. As you can see, the dough is starting to come together and form a ball. That's pretty much it. I'm going to turn this out, put it in a bag, and show you what to do next. So I'm just going to form this really loosely into a disc. You can chill the dough in the refrigerator for 6 hours or put them in the freezer so you can have one whenever you need it. This hearty lard crust lends itself well to savory or sweet pies, especially those that have long baking periods, like pecan for example. But if lard is not your bag, I got the butter crust for you. This one's easier than the last one. All you need is 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of chilled cubed butter, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of ice water. Now I'm going to quickly use my fingers to toss the butter in the flour. There are many ways to incorporate the butter into the flour. You could use a pastry blender, 2 knives, or if you're quick enough, you could use your fingers. If you're going to use your fingers, you got to work quick, and this is the motion. You want to crumble the butter into the flour. Regardless of your method, you want to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of ice cold water, 1 tablespoon at a time. Candied ginger. This particular crust I'm going to use for a blueberry galette. So I'm going to finish this dough off by hand. No matter which method you've used, you want the butter to stay about the size of small peas when it's incorporated into the flour. I poured the dough out onto the counter and I'm going to form it until it comes together. This will happen really quickly. If it starts to stick a little, use the bench scraper. Can you see the little flakes of butter? Flakes of butter means flaky crust. Wrap this tight in plastic. Throw it in the freezer or the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours until you're ready to use it. Keep in mind, this is for one 8 to 10 inch pie crust. So now that we've made all these pie crusts, what are we gonna do with them? Well, stick around and watch my upcoming videos because I'm gonna make some savory meat pies and a beautiful summer blueberry galette that's gonna blow your socks off. What do you think of my new haircut?